back to the WHRW News Essay Debates. I'm Robert Glass.
And I'm Jenna Rosenberg.
And we are your moderators for the evening. We are having the candidates of all the essay executive board positions on to debate about why they think they should be elected to the position that they're running for. And we are now up to the executive vice presidency, where we have Boris Tadchiev, and Teresa Florindi, who are the two candidates here. We're going to be starting with a 1-minute opening statement from each of them, and then we're going to be going on to questions towards them. And we'll start with Boris with the 1-minute opening statement.
Hi, guys. My name is Boris Tadchiev. I'm running for Executive Vice President, like Rob said. My experience, I have a lot of experience in dealing with the Executive Vice President. I'm the chair of the Rules Committee this year of the Assembly, and I work closely with the Executive Vice President in chartering new groups. I'm a third-year Student Assembly representative, a second-year Financial Council representative. I'm an assistant to the current Executive Vice President, and I represent Chabad in the Student Group Council. Some ideas on my platform: give autonomy to student groups, get rid of bureaucracy, improve student group registration, strengthen the Student Group Council, address the lack of programming space next year by having money available to student groups so they can rent space off campus, and hold the Student Group Showcase Fair outside so student groups can get more traffic and advertise themselves better. This is my experience. Platform.
Teresa?
Hi everyone, my name is Teresa Florindi. I'm running for the position of Executive Vice President. Everyone knows the campus is changing, but I want to make sure these changes benefit every single student. The EVP acts as the single most important liaison between student groups, community government, and the SA. I want to make sure that connection is not lost. I think my involvement in community government is extremely relevant to the position of EVP. Currently, as Mountain View President, I have been able to not only develop relationships with the student body, but the administration as well. During each and every meeting with the administration, I don't think about how certain issues will benefit myself. I always ask, is this really the best thing for Binghamton community at large? I've also been an active member of STRIVE, an SA chartered group which goes to Binghamton High School to run an after-school tutoring program. STRIVE is a relatively new group, and I personally experience the difficulties new student groups face. If elected, I will work with every student group to help explain all the resources the SA has to offer and be available to guide groups in any way necessary. The union renovations are going to be a big problem that's going to affect not only the Binghamton University campus, but student groups as well. I plan to work tirelessly to develop a comprehensive strategy to deal with the lack of space. And if we realize the plan doesn't work, be open to suggestions from all students. I don't believe anything should be set in stone. I'm a very enthusiastic, available, and involved leader. A lot of time and effort is necessary to handle all student groups, and I'm willing to put in the energy so that every group, new and old, can work to their fullest potential. I think I will bring a new and positive perspective to the position of EVP, and one that will be needed next year.
Thank you very much. Our next question.
Our next question is for both of you. How are you going to help improve student relations with the SA? Each of you will get 1 minute. We'll start with Teresa.
Connections with the SA. I definitely think that connections with the SA are very important. Student groups are a very big part of the Binghamton University campus. I definitely think that executive board members should be involved in student groups, not only go to their meetings, but be available to talk to them whenever possible. I definitely feel as though I'm going to be available next year. My door will always be open to student groups, and I think that communication between myself and the executive board members of the SA is important, so I can inform them about what's happening in student groups, and student groups can inform me about what's happening in their own group.
Thank you. Boris?
Well, that's definitely a key issue in my platform. Improve and strengthen the Student Group Council. That will be the #1 most important thing in improving communication. What I plan on doing is requiring that every member of the Student Association e-board shows up to the Student Group Council meetings and gives a report to the student groups, what his or her office up to, any suggestions they can take from the student groups. Another thing I'm working on is to invite all the incoming presidents of the student groups at the end of every academic year, and explain to them what the SA is about, what we expect from them, how they can benefit from being an SA chartered group, and make sure that the process goes as smoothly as possible and everyone is happy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Could you each detail the most major change you want to make to the SA to improve it if you are elected as Executive Vice President? And we'll give you each 2 minutes for this question.
Boris.
And Boris.
Can you repeat the question?
Could you detail the most major change you want to make to the SA to improve it if you are elected as Executive Vice President?
Sure. The #1 thing, like I mentioned, is communication. Again, Student Group Council, I want to strengthen it by making sure that every board member of the SA shows up and gives a report. Another thing is getting rid of bureaucracy. Right now we have some unnecessary meetings, in my opinion, that we require student groups to show up to, and it's basically just a time commitment that they don't want to give, and they're not interested. They don't get anything out of it. And I want to use forums like the Student Group Council to ask student groups what, in their opinion, is unnecessary, what we can get rid of. Another thing is improve the paperwork, the process of registering, filing all that paperwork. I want to ask student groups, again, what they think, what we should get rid of, what we can combine to make the process as easy as we can.
Thank you. Teresa?
As I mentioned before, I am an active member of STRIVE. Like I said, we go into Binghamton High School and tutor students after school. We're a relatively new group, and I've seen the trials and tribulations that go on for a new student group. So next year I came up with the idea to alleviate this problem, to get student groups together that have been chartered less than 3 years, whether it's monthly, bi-monthly, and get together and really explain what the essay is all about. There are a lot of students who just simply don't know what forms to fill out, who to go to, and who to see. So I feel as though having student groups get together like that, especially if they're new, it would be very important. Also, executive board transitions. For STRIVE, we are left with nothing from our executive board last year, and we didn't start to tutor students until November. That's not a functional way to go about this, and I definitely think the EVP is a very important liaison between student groups, and student groups, whether they're new or old, should really be able to work to their fullest potential, and I think the EVP is a starting point for that. So I definitely think the implementation of that group to have groups chartered less than 3 years is going to be the most major change I propose for next year.
Okay, thank you. Boris, would you like to do a rebuttal to that? Or
Yeah, well, I guess one thing I forgot to mention was that I mentioned earlier was to invite all the incoming presidents at the end of their academic year. Some groups at the beginning, especially if their e-board is graduating, or most of the e-board is graduating, they're not sure what forms to file, how to register, and they have to wait about a month or a month and a half at the beginning of every academic year, and get registered, get all the paperwork filed, get approved again. So what I want to do is deal with all of that before the academic year starts, at the end of every academic year, and explain to student groups what we expect from them so they can start their programming and their events right at the beginning of the year.
Okay, thank you. Teresa, would you like to respond to that?
No, I agree.
Both of you have had significant experience with student government in the past. How will this help you in the future? Start with Teresa this time.
Okay. As I mentioned before, I'm currently Mountain View College Council President. Not only has that given me experience in dealing with the student body, obviously in Mountain View, going out, meeting people, but also last year I served as co-social of Mountain View, and I was able to put together, coordinate, and execute large-scale programs. Next year, as many of you know, in general, the EVP deals with the student group showcase in the beginning of each year. That's a huge undertaking, and I think that my experience as co-social, being able to coordinate and execute large-scale programs, will be beneficial. In addition, my experience this year in government, I've been able to deal with the administration. I sit on various university-wide committees and have developed a relationship with the administration. I know next year the EVP goes to a lot of meetings with the president, so I don't have to start that relationship. I already have it cemented, and I know how the process works. So I think that my experience, not only in community government, but university-wide as well, will definitely help.
Okay, thank you. Boris?
I do have a lot of experience in dealing with student groups in particular, a lot of relevant experience. Like I said, I'm the chair of the Rules Committee this year, and I work very closely with Joe Danko in getting new groups chartered, answering all their questions, and walking them through the process step by step. I also know how the system works. I'm an assembly rep for 3 years, and I've fought for student groups' rights. For example, BSSI last year, Crosby's and the PEGs lost a lot of money because they didn't file a rollover form. So I co-sponsored a resolution in the Assembly to direct the FVP last year to not penalize them as much as he had planned to. Another thing, I was the main writer of the Student Group Council bylaws. And I know exactly how they work. I know exactly what needs to be changed. And this is actually the job of the EVP. One of the duties is to chair the Student Group Council. So I know the process in that respect as well. And I'm also a financial council representative, and I'm very familiar with the financial aspect of student groups. What they have to deal with. We're having budget proceedings right now, as a matter of fact, and I know what they feel like.
Thank you.
Thank you.